You need to get to one Bitcoin right now. Matter of urgency. So much is happening. We'll jump into this earthquake that's going to happen. $17.7 trillion. If you don't have one Bitcoin, I understand that is a very privileged mindset. We're going to jump into it. We're going to dive into it, and I'll unpack my thoughts in regards to it. But check this out. This is huge news. Justin, pro-Bitcoin US presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. leaves Democratic Party to run for president as an independent. Absolutely massive. We'll get through a couple of things really quickly. This is pretty funny by JP Morgan here as well. Bloomberg reported that El Salvador's Bitcoin legal tender law could strain the Bitcoin blockchain. 2 years later, the blockchain continues to confirm blocks every 10 minutes. It's TikTok next block, ladies and gentlemen, and Bitcoin Lightning, the instant payment solution, is stronger than ever. El Salvador's move could strain Bitcoin blockchain, JP Morgan says. JP Morgan as well, massive investors in Ethereum. They stuffed up there. They are very disappointed as well. We need to forget all the noise. Anything apart from Bitcoin, it is all noise. If you want to be a degenerate gambler, go ahead, do that. If you've got one Bitcoin. If you don't have one Bitcoin, it's absolutely imperative that you do get there. We're going to unpack that. Obviously, the $17.7 trillion earthquake that could hit Bitcoin, it is going to bleed over into some of that nonsense garbage out there. But all we care about is Bitcoin. A couple of massive things that are happening around the world. The US has not got the Bitcoin regulation in place just yet, but it's only a matter of time. And they're just posturing, they're just delaying it. So BlackRock has everything in place. They're the first people. Once that happens, they've got the regulation, the spot Bitcoin ETF. We have not seen anything yet. We're going to dive into how high the price could go. I'm not going to give you a price prediction. That's irresponsible. But what happened last time, the amounts of money, they're talking about $17.7 trillion. There's about $25 billion that came into Bitcoin last cycle. We went from $3,000, just over, but $3,000 to over $69,000. We have not seen anything yet. So we're just getting started. Couple of things. So this is Micah. This is regulation that's happening around the world. The world is starting to wake up to Bitcoin and crypto, unfortunately, but Bitcoin mainly, that's what we care about here on this channel. The markets and crypto asset regulation, MiCA, Institute Uniform EU market rules for crypto assets. The regulation covers crypto assets that are not currently regulated by existing financial service legislation. So a couple of things in regards to MiCA that I have highlighted. I had highlighted it earlier. It's gone. That's what happens when you go live. We'll flick over to the UAE. They have the highest public crypto adoption rate globally. If you're missing this, if you're scared about how much it costs to get into Bitcoin, to be a whole coiner, I understand it's huge. It's a big stretch. But if you've been here throughout the whole bear market, and you haven't managed it, but you have the capacity with your earning capacity to be able to stack one Bitcoin, please let me know in the comments, what are you doing in regards to that? It's important that we tell our friends and family, those that we care about, even people we don't like, to get to one Bitcoin. Couple of reasons, we're going to dive into it, but listen to this. Public adoption measures the level of awareness, interest, and engagement with cryptocurrency in the general population. You can switch out crypto for Bitcoin. We don't need to get too hung up on semantics, although Bitcoin is not crypto. The UAE has the highest public crypto adoption rate in the world, along with Singapore. The UAE and Singapore scored 7.1 out of 10 on the crypto adoption index, which measures 6 things: public adoption, infrastructure adoption, innovation and technology, regulatory environment, economic factors, and tax friendliness. Overall, the report ranks the UAE third after Singapore and Switzerland with a score of 50.2 out of 60. Out of the 10 points, listen to this. This is awesome. The UAE scored 10 in tax friendliness. They get it. That's why they are the crypto hub of the world. 9.3 in innovation and technology, 8.9 in economic factors, 8.5 in the regulatory environment, which the US is severely lacking with at the moment, 7.1 in public adoption, 6.4 in infrastructure adoption. This is pretty interesting, surprised me. Hong Kong, USA, like this is crazy that the USA, obviously, this is talking about the adoption, the crypto adoption index. They are saying the USA, Australia, Hong Kong, the UK, Malaysia, Thailand, Netherlands, Italy, Antigua, Barbuda. I probably got that one wrong. Austria, New Zealand, Monaco, Portugal, Cyprus, and Mauritius were ranked among the top 20 countries in the crypto adoption index. Australia is pretty good with their framework, especially for self-managed super funds. Yesterday, we talked about how the Prime Minister is going to steal people's pensions, which is absolutely insane, but you can opt out, manage your own pension fund, buy Bitcoin. So you have a chance now, but they're slowly closing those gatekeepers. You can get in contact with the Bitcoin advisor if you need advice, help to be able to do that anywhere around the world. And if you're moving large sums anyway, in the UAE, the Financial Service Regulatory Authority of Abu Dhabi Global Markets, which is FSRA ADGM, was the first to provide rules and regulations regarding cryptocurrency purchasing and selling. The Emirates are generally very open to new technology and have proposed zero taxes for crypto owners and businesses. It said, if you are lurking in the chat, say hello, let us know where you are tuning in from and what time is it. Are you getting to bed at a proper, reasonable time? In total, there are an estimated 88,200 crypto millionaires globally, 182 centimillionaires, and 22 billionaires. That 22 billionaires absolutely surprised me because there's only about 3,000 billionaires worldwide. 22 of them have come from crypto. And this is what we're seeing with JP Morgan, Fidelity, BlackRock. They realized that they messed up a little bit, that their purse strings are getting tighter and they need to do something. So they're rushing to be able to get in. And obviously with their Bitcoin ETFs, they want to be able to control this asset that has so far slipped past, and we have front run the institutional investors, which is fantastic to see. So well done if you are here. Now listen to this British Hodl video coming out, an interview with him tomorrow. So make sure you hit subscribe and check that out. Turn on notifications. It is absolutely amazing insight into high net worth individuals. And he has a very relentless message. Anyway, follow him. But this is very topical. Friday is a very important day for Bitcoin. It's the deadline day for the SEC to appeal the smackdown they received from the courts regarding GBTC and Grayscale lawsuit. Very interesting to see what happens. My eyes are still on the Bitcoin ETF approval 2023. Lines up nice. Does line up very nice. The only thing that I would add on to that is I think it's going to be very early next year. That's my opinion. British Hodl's entitled to his. We agree on most things, but not everything. And you're going to see that in that interview tomorrow. Holy cow. This is deep. This is pretty full on, ladies and gentlemen. We will get through it. And wow, this is why Bitcoin wins. And this is why it's so important to be able to stack as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. We are going to talk about why it's so important to get to one. And if you can't get to one, why you need to still strive to get to one. We will unpack that. Let's just get through the news with the fast facts. So I've been watching the US debt clock for a decade. Two changes I've noticed. This is the fastest I've seen the Federal Reserve. I've seen the federal revenues decline. I've been writing a script about the Federal Reserve, so it's stuck in my mind. This is, and it's called a Freudian slip when that happens. This is the only normal time that debt growth has started to get away from CBO projections and go parabolic. This will be the last debt clock post until USA hits $34 trillion. We hit 33 trillion 3 weeks ago, so hopefully it takes at least that long. We are printing trillions per quarter now instead of per year. Protect purchasing power. Bitcoin is your only option to be able to do this. It used to be gold. We live in a technological age. So you have Bitcoin and there is nothing else. There is no second best. It is Bitcoin only. To be able to protect your purchasing power, you can gamble, go out in the risk curve. After you get one Bitcoin, that's totally fine with me. None of this is financial advice, but study Bitcoin and we are going to unpack that. So this gentleman posted this video about 22 hours ago. And the debt clock here was 33,515,649,000,000, and then some there. Rory Saylor, shout out, co-host on a Friday. Make sure you are following at Rory Saylor on Twitter. Now, compare these two. So 33515, and remember that 515 there, 515 billion. 33518. So in 22 hours, the US national debt has increased by over $3 billion. Isn't that absolutely insane? We'll check back. I am going to the States in about a week and a half. I will go to Capitol Hill, and I'm going to ask the general population if they understand that. If anyone knows anyone in Virginia Beach, Virginia, reach out to me on Twitter at SeanClark911. Would love to catch up and spend 4 hours talking to people. If anyone wants to go on an orange pill event with me, we'll just walk around, talk to people. In regards to talking to people about Bitcoin, best place, Beers for Bitcoin. It's a great way to be able to get into Bitcoin for friends and family. For the average person, it's a great place to start. You need to study Bitcoin. Talking about studying Bitcoin, people always say study Bitcoin, but no one actually tells you what that means. I actually do. I tell you to read the book and keep reading and get as much information. If you don't like reading, listen to the audiobook. And for everyone watching now, you're doing a fantastic job studying Bitcoin. So shout out to you. Please just share it with friends and family. So here's an outline of topics to get you started. Bitcoin study guide. Learn the basic concepts of what money is, i.e., fiat currency, medium of exchange, store of value, debt, inflation. Watch short videos. That works. Investigate the history of money, including the Roman Empire, Argentina, Venezuela, etc. This will help paint a bigger picture of recurring problems with fiat and the importance of scarcity. I just want to shout out Tell Salvation, the author of this post, at BTC Salvation, SALVATION. So investigate the history of money, decentralized versus centralized. Understand how decentralized blockchain is useful to solve the problems of fiat. For everyone watching, you probably already get all these things, but this is a good list to be able to pass on to people. I will repost it for ease of access. Yes, the word blockchain is scary, but you don't have to know the details. Just understand the basic concept, it's like blocks in a chain, and they link together through a hash and function. If you can work out how to understand that and to be able to articulate it, it's really that easy. If not, beers forget Bitcoin, everything you need to know. Anyway, couple more things. Read the Bitcoin white paper. If you're here now and you haven't read it, please do it. It's 6 pages. It'll take you 15 minutes to read. It's absolutely important to do that. Shout out to Bitcoin Moon Guy, Rory Saylor, everyone in the chat watching live. If you're watching this on Twitter, come over to YouTube really quickly. Drop us a like, a comment, share the video. But Twitter's the play. I mean, YouTube, jump over to YouTube and do it if you are on Twitter. Anyway, find out what the importance of 21 million Bitcoins, the block cycle halving miners and nodes are. Learn the difference between proof of work and proof of stake, and why proof of stake does not work. And that's why JP Morgan is so disgusted with Ethereum. They're not disgusted. That's my words. Their words are they're disappointed. Wallet private keys, addresses, UTXOs, more technical, BIP39, SHA-256 hash functions. Tomorrow I'll bring up a video, not tomorrow, that's the interview with British Hodl. The next day I'll bring up SHA-256 hash functions, a good way to be able to understand that. It's important to do your own research, study Bitcoin from different resources. Feel free to post your topic resource below. Great stuff. Broken Money, fantastic book. I'll actually put it in the description when this video is finished. That will be there for everyone if the description's not there. Next one, The Bitcoin Standard, fantastic book. The only reason why I don't have Broken Money down here is because it's upstairs next to the couch so that I can sit down and I can read it. It's a huge book. Broken Money is literally like that thick. Like if I get all these books, it's thicker than that. But it's a good way to be able to get into it. There's heaps of books there in the big background. Bitcoin Evangelism's another great one. The Price of Tomorrow, Jeff Booth, everything by Safe Dean. You need to read, ladies and gentlemen. Now, where are we? Space and time. We are at block height 811,454. Local time is 10:53 a.m. The exchange rate, and we're going to dive into this because today is such a great opportunity for it. It's a red day. We love red days on this channel. We want more red days. My wife actually doesn't like the red days as much as I do, but I get so excited for them, and I'll tell you why when we jump over to the chart. Sats per dollar, much better today than it was yesterday. You get 3,621 Satoshis per US dollar. If you think Bitcoin's too expensive at 27,614, just look at how many Satoshis and buying Satoshis. Great little brain trick. It makes you feel like you're getting more for spending less in a way. And I know that's just a trick of the brain, but it works. Whatever works so that you can get as much Bitcoin as possible. Let's get some likes for Sean fellas and females. Fellas and females, FF. Why not? Anyway, the mempool still 65 deep. Yesterday was at 70. Unconfirmed transactions, though, has gone down a lot. I think it was at like 60 odd thousand yesterday. I can't quite recall. Somebody fact check me below. 25,245 transactions deep with that. We are still wow. Holy cow. So like for the last 3-4 months where I've been bringing up the block clock every single day, it said April 26, and it's just changed, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. April 25th, which is Anzac Day, which is unfortunately with everything that is going on in the world, Anzac Day, the Australian New Zealand Army Corps, it's a day of remembrance for those that fought with us. And you can see in the background there is a sword. My papa served in the British Navy. They used to guard the Queen, her children, when they'd visit New Zealand as well. So Dad had a lot of fun with, I think, Prince Harry and Charles and stuff as they're growing up. Pretty insane anyway. Random off topic, but 25th of April, this has changed to 2024. We're going to keep a close eye on that. That has not changed for months and months and months, and today it has. Now, the whole rest of the market is dumping. The only reason I'm showing the whole market is because I like it when numbers align. $1.11 trillion. We are down 1.9%. And you can see there's just blood absolutely everywhere. If Bitcoin tanks, everything else tanks a whole lot more. Just keep that in mind. That's why you don't want to go out on the risk curve if you don't have one Bitcoin yet. I know I'm being relentless and very pushy in regards to one Bitcoin. I'll unpack that in a moment because I understand not everyone can achieve one Bitcoin. I get that. But if you aim for the stars and you land on the moon, isn't that better than never having a goal? If you can see it, if you believe it, and then you know it's possible, you can achieve it. And that's what I keep saying. That's what I want people to understand. Have a big stretch goal, because what happens if you surprise yourself? Maybe. What happens if you get a large, big pot of money, but you don't have that goal, and then you spend it on some trashy thing? But if you're so focused in on what you get, that money comes in and you're like, great, now I've got my one Bitcoin, I can just carry on with my life, stack and chill, and then you create new goals, keep going forward. But look at this, $27,595. What a great opportunity. Once it gets above $28,000 and stays there, once it gets above $32,000, it's probably not coming back to where we are right now. You can see in the last 24 hours, we didn't manage to get above 28,000. The day before we did so, a high 27,992 with a low of 27,354. We're roughly in the middle there, but it's not about trying to get the low. It's just trying to get as much Bitcoin as possible, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it super simple. Let's kiss it red all over. Keep that in mind. Everything else is nonsense and deserves to be down. Bitcoin, it's a great buying opportunity there. One thing I noticed with people, especially in crypto, is when the price is down, they panic. But Bitcoiners, you and I that have been here for a while, we see the opportunity, we make the most of the opportunity because we realize that once it goes up and $17.7 trillion from BlackRock flows into it and all the other spot ETFs, and we get the regulation, especially in the US, it is off to the races. And yes, while there is a lot of nonsense going on with the US and their regulation, and a little bit of he said, she said, they can't do anything. We've got a couple of articles to get into shortly. It will come, and the timing will be absolutely perfect for the big institutions, but you're here now, you've front run them, so well done. If you need a Bitcoin only exchange, I use Amber. You can use whatever you like. Links are in the description there, but you need to be able to protect it. Cedar, cold hard German steel, or buy these off Amazon. They're $6. You'll be able to search, but put it on steel. Don't keep your seed phrase on paper, because even if you only get to 0.1 or 0.01, long term, if you don't get one now, even long term, 5, 10 years, 15 years, 0.1, you're going to be such a high net worth individual. Don't stuff this up now. Please, whatever you do, please do not stuff it out. You've got this opportunity now. It's a very unique opportunity that only comes once in a lifetime, and you are here for it. So well done on being here. Now, a couple of things. We're going to get into regulation around the world. So we will talk about the US here. Just in regards to the PSYOP with Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, a great report about why Bitcoin's better than gold. And I can't say this now. I've been trying to work it out. I probably should have Googled it as Cipollone in regards to CBDC. So let's race through this for us. So Rory in the chat there stacked 2,469,364 sats yesterday at an average price of 27,900. Absolutely fantastic that you got it then. And if you've got any more gunpowder today, another good chance. If not, you've stacked. Now it's just your time to chill, bro. It's all good. Yes, it's down a little bit. Who really cares? I did so well not swearing yesterday. I'm not going to swear today. We'll make it a streak, ladies and gentlemen, because in the British Hodl interview, there's a whole lot of swearing that is not for the faint of heart. If you don't like cuss words, watch it anyway. Wake up, grow up. It is such a good, informative video. Anyway, crypto needs Congress, but US lawmakers have opted for the pandemonium. So Congress stares down the barrel in November 17 shutdown. This guy, hey, he's like, I don't know, he's a politician. This guy. He's, what an intense stare on the man. What a guy. Anyway. 2 crypto bills are carrying a lot of the sector's hope because they've made it further than any legislation to date. So one House bill that would establish rules for digital asset markets, and another that would set up regulations for issuing and trading stablecoins in the US. The problem? November 17 is the new deadline for a government shutdown. Ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty bloody unlikely that they are going to do it. More posturing. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. If they shut down, they shut down. The worst thing is people may not be paid until they resume, and a lot of people can't afford these expenses. So, unless Congress can agree to a spending plan it wasn't able to execute last month, they'll agree. There's no doubt about it. I actually had a tweet brought up in regards to barrels of oil. Oh, well, anyway. I'll repost it, but Janet Yellen saying that they want to have barrels of oil trading at $60 a barrel. So I don't know, are they going to, print more barrels of oil? That's basically what they're alluding to here. It's pretty interesting what's going on with all the oil producing countries around the world, especially with the BRICS. So it's possible for lawmakers to work on crypto efforts while also dealing with the bigger budget drama. Members, this is crazy. So members of the powerful House Financial Service Committee proved that by clearing a central bank digital currency, CBDC, bill while the spending debate raged before last month's 45-day agreement to postpone the budget deadline. So they can happily push through things in regards to CBDCs, the control of your spending power, but they're not really willing to be able to push through something in regards to Bitcoin. Of course they can. They're just waiting. They're buying time. And I don't know, maybe they're just waiting for Larry Fink to be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready now. And then bang. If it happens this year, British HODL thinks it's the end of this year. I think early 2024, I reckon before the halving though, ladies and gentlemen. So make the most of this opportunity. New speaker, pretty interesting. Couple of things here. So the US needs regulatory clarity that protects consumers and promotes innovation. So the hope is that we see movements before the end of the year. I'm 50-50. It's going to happen either the end of the year or very early next year. It's going to align really well. So just stack and chill, ladies and gentlemen. So crypto risks another SBF if the US doesn't provide clear regulation. It's really interesting how much these news outlets are talking about the US regulation, US crypto regulation, US Bitcoin regulation. They just keep seeding our brains with it because they do need to implement it. The US has the best capital markets in the world. So once they do regulate it, I understand it's not the Bitcoiner ethos. But if you're here now, you own real Bitcoin, it's all good. You don't need to worry about these big players coming. Just be happy because it's inevitable and you front run them anyway. So in regards to the regulation, good or bad, who cares? It is what it is. It's coming. It's a matter of time. Once this regulation is in place, you'll never get to one Bitcoin again, is my strong belief and my honest opinion. So do everything you can now. If you don't get to one whole Bitcoin, just get as much as you can without going without food, without going without like clean water, clean eating. You know, make sure you're fed, you've got a roof over your head, you're taking care of your life, and then do everything you possibly can to be able to get to one Bitcoin. So it looks at regulatory advancements around the world which disincentivize bad behavior and create a path to accountability. And that's what you want to see from regulation, is stop the nonsense with this BS of the world and be able to just stack as much Bitcoin as possible. If you can do me a favor, hit the like button. If you want to share it, that's even better. But just hitting the like button is the number one greatest thing that you could do. I appreciate every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. So the three women that watch my channel, number one and the most dearest to me is my beautiful wife. Shout out to her, and Bride and Ali. Thank you so much every day tuning in. And then for all the gentlemen in the chat that are here now, but to the three women that watch the channel, absolutely appreciate all three of you, and for every single fella out there, as Rory would say. What's your price pre-4 Bitcoin? For Bitcoin? Just restate that, like a price prediction, Crypto Pride, or are you looking for price prediction before the halving there? Because we did talk about this a little bit yesterday. Anyway, while you're writing that, we'll get in here. Shout out to everyone watching. If we take a step back and look at what's happened outside the US since the SBF news broke, other countries have doubled down on the technology. So why is the US dragging their heels? I will be going there next week. I will be asking people. I'll go to Capitol Hill. I'll find out. I doubt they're going to let me inside, the White House or the Fed, but I can try. If anyone knows anyone, I'd greatly appreciate it. We'll get to my price prediction in a moment. Everyone that was here yesterday very clearly understands my thoughts in regards to that, but I'll get to that in a sec for you, brother. Governments around the world are actively building legislative and regulatory frameworks offering important legal certainty to ecosystem operators and crucially enhanced protection for consumers. Earlier this year, the EU put in place comprehensive legislation and is already iterating it. That's the MiCA laws we went through at the start. First big piece of legislation from a leading economy to legislate digital assets and introduce a harmonized regulatory framework. The goal of regulation should be to disincentivize bad behavior and create a path to accountability. I don't disagree with that. And I'm actually for the right type of regulation. They do need to be able to talk to Bitcoiners, not so much altcoin. Yes, I didn't swear. Not so much altcoin holders, but Bitcoin holders, people that are running Bitcoin only exchanges. If they can talk to them, get their advice from them, and then work together, all good. But it's going to be all good anyway. Like we're here now. Japan heeded lessons learned from a previous crisis, put consumer protections in place, has incorporated Web3 into its national economic plan. We're seeing it all around the world. The US behind the scenes will be doing it. And they're just waiting for the go ahead, and then it's done. It's in there. It's probably already laid out, and we're probably going to see more and more leaks in regards to it. That's my prediction. And then we'll talk about price in a sec. So Bitcoin is better than digital gold. Matrix port. This is very, very, very interesting. The SEC approval of a US listed spot Bitcoin ETF could result in inflows of as much as 30 billion, a report by the crypto service provider said. One thing I want to say with that is with the last cycle, when Bitcoin went from $3,300 odd to over 69,000, just touching it, about $50 billion came into the digital asset space. And so about 25 billion, maybe to 30 billion, about 50% of that went into Bitcoin. And we went from $3,300 to over 69,000. Just this alone, just talking about with gold, we're talking about another $30 billion into Bitcoin, with the BlackRock ETF coming in, with all the capital allocations around the world coming in. Exponentially, this cycle is going to be very big, and I don't think we can fathom what is coming. Does it happen 2024, 2025? Do we need to wait till the cycle after? I don't know. I just want to get as much as possible right now. Let me know if you need someone in VA for next week. I'd love to help you. Reach out to me at Sean Clarke 911. So at SeanClarke 911 on x.com. Ian, that would be absolutely fantastic to be able to touch base. Yeah, definitely message here, and that'd be great. If you can't get into my DMs, if they're closed for any reason, just send us a tweet. Anyway, the connection between gold and Bitcoin as stores of value is obvious, and the demand for Bitcoin as a digital store of value was a big reason why the cryptocurrency grew in popularity. Yep, store of value, an inflation hedge, and it's gold for a digital age. It's so important that we understand that. And this is going to be the driving narrative of this cycle, especially as the institutions get in. Larry Fink's already our marketing manager. Like, if you're not bullish now, like, what are you doing? Like, every red day should be an opportunity of excitement to be able to stack as much. Be greedy, be absolutely relentless. So my 3 rules is to stack 1 Bitcoin, you need to believe it's possible and be absolutely relentless about it. Just go hard. Go as hard as you possibly can, because your time is running out. It is TikTok. Next block. So Bitcoin's market cap is 540 billion, equivalent to 10.8% of the market cap of physical financial gold. Gold exchange traded funds, ETFs, are valued at 200 billion. So with that, because gold is physical, Bitcoin is digital gold in a way. It's obviously so much more than that. I know this is a nuance, but this is making it just very simplistic. The ETFs, 200 billion, but 13 point whatever trillion dollars gold is. A lot of that, people are selling all their gold holdings to go into Bitcoin because it is the superior asset. Yes, it's volatile. Risky? No. not long term. So this is why potential approval by the SEC of a US listed spot Bitcoin ETF could result in inflows of 20 to 30 billion, potentially triggering a large rally in Bitcoin. Once that rally starts, if we get, say, $30 billion and we get up to the all-time high, then the news really starts ramping it up about it. Obviously, BlackRock want to be able to sell and push as much as possible. So then people get FOMO and they get in. And when the price starts going up and up and up, and we'll get into what I think about the price in a sec, and it continues to rally up, more and more people get in. And then the news more and more talks about it. You'll see everyone on YouTube come out of the woodworks that has been quiet for the last 4 years that have never heard or talked about Bitcoin. Everyone will be talking about it. You are going to get more people talking about that rubbish nonsense cryptocurrency as well. But that's going to put more eyeballs, more attention, and that leads to that parabolic vertical blow off top, and it will come back down. That's fine. But it's going to be absolutely monumental. So large rally potentially is there. Therefore, considering the current state of technological developments, Bitcoin's primary roles are likely as a store of value akin to gold and a speculative financial asset. 100% I agree with all of that inflation hedge store of value narrative. And then people are greedy and people will come in. And that's just something that's baked into Bitcoin, which is absolutely fantastic. That we have these cycles and the supply gets cut in half every 4 years, lines up with the presidential elections, which is crazy. And they're probably going to start money printing. Then we've got the Bitcoin BlackRock ETF, along with every other ETF out there. We are getting regulation around the world. If you don't have one Bitcoin yet, I would advise you to study Bitcoin as much as possible. B is for Bitcoin if you haven't read it, whatever. Just read as much, consume as much, get as much information as you can to build your conviction, to understand as much as you can about the world's scarcest asset. The only thing that's scarcer than Bitcoin is your life, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mess this up. So, Cipollone, we're going to go with. If someone can say this name phonetically, in the chat for me would be greatly appreciated, but Cipollone is what we're going through today. Or Piero, excuse my ignorance. There's just a couple of things in regards to this gentleman I want to bring up. A digital euro would reinforce the ability to pay with public money throughout Europe with the technology and infrastructure that is based in Europe. He told members of the European Parliament's Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee, promising offline functionality, accessibility, and I've highlighted this and I want to bring it to your attention, and excellent solutions to protect privacy. That sounds so sinister to me. Have I been drinking too much of the CBDC propaganda Kool-Aid? I'm dead set against him, and I think the only thing that we can do now is buy as much Bitcoin and hold it ourselves in cold storage. That's my thought. Anyway, Cipollone's 8-year term has already been approved by Eurozone finance ministers, and the ECB itself making his ascension to the position all but certain. Panetta has previously railed against private crypto as a greed-fueled Ponzi scheme and has also led ECB work on a digital euro. I do believe what they're saying there. Private crypto is a greed-fueled Ponzi scheme. 100%. It is. 70% of Ethereum was pre-mined. Same deal with Solana. Maybe it's even higher than that as well. It's the same with all the cryptocurrency out there, aside from Bitcoin. It has been distributed very fairly. Everyone has a chance. There's no allocation. Satoshi obviously mined a lot through proof of work. We believe that bag now will never be spent. Does it happen? Maybe. Are the NSA going to come out and say somehow that they got a hold of it? It's absolutely potential. Did the NSA make Bitcoin? Potential. Anyway, I dive into these topics tomorrow with British Hodl. It's a very deep conversation. In regards to this, though, in a response to an earlier written questionnaire from lawmakers, Cipollone said, I 100% know I'm not saying that right, said that blockchain innovations bring significant risks, but that the challenges of a CBDC for financial stability and lending could be managed through measures like imposing holding limits on citizens. But an excellent solution to protect privacy. But they would like to impose holding limits on citizens. Sounds absolutely terrifying. George Orwell, 1984, has tried to warn us with so many things in regards to that, but it is what it is. All you can do is aim to be a whole coiner, believe it's possible, stack relentlessly, be relentless about it, educate friends and family. If you can do us a favor, hit the like button, hit share, leave a comment, say g'day. Have a beautiful day. Be blessed. Peace.